Welcome back to Hi-Fi Tech and Entertainment channel. In this SAP Fiori series, already we started the binding concepts. So in my previous videos, already I explained you the aggregation binding. Now let's start the expression binding. First of all, what is the expression binding? So the expression binding it allows you to embed the logical directly inside of your XML view itself. I mean, what it will do is it will helps you to control the UI dynamically without extra writing of code in the controller. For example, if there is any calculation or after maintaining something, you want to highlight the coloring part, calculation part, or if you want to perform some conditions, that all things will do it in expression binding without our controller. I mean, without writing the logic in your controller, we can maintaining it as in some formatter function. Formatter is nothing but just to perform some more extra logical. If you want to maintain inline calculation of your view itself, we will use this expression binding. So if you use the expression binding means it will be a more declarable and it will be easy to maintain in your view part also. So what is the syntax of our expression binding? First, if you see this, how to define our expression binding in the view means here we have two options will be there. If this is the first option, within the flower braces equal to expression is the one and colon hyphen expression is the second one. The first one is uses for the one-way binding, so it will allows the automatic recalculation if the model views will be changed. And if you see here the colon equal to expression, this variant uses the one-time binding, means this value is calculated only once. That means if you do changes in your model, it won't update to the model. So I mean, there is no change slated to the model to be determined. So how to define that expression binding in your view means this here we can see the example. For example, if you maintain some discounts to if it's greater than the value, then only you want to perform some discounts without writing code in the controller. Directly the inline comment we can maintain like this. If you use equal to dollar, this is the binding way we need to maintain in our UI. Then conditions, that's how we need to maintain this is the syntax to perform this. Next, expressions, in how many operators we can perform this expression binding means the first one is strictly equivalent operator. Here if you want to maintain to triple equal to, not equal to conditions you want to maintain, you can maintain directly in your view itself. For example, if this is an icon I maintained in my view, if the backend data, I mean whatever the mock data I maintained equal to yes equal to x, then only I want to maintain in visibility scenarios. That in that conditions we can validate here. And also it will perform the relational operators. The relational operators is nothing but right, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, this all relational operations also we can perform in our expression binding. Next, the conditional operator. The conditional operator is nothing but the question mark scenarios. So I mean true or false, either if it conditions will satisfy it maintain this, if the condition is not satisfied maintaining the other one. In that scenarios we can use this expression binding. And the next one is the binary logical operations. This binary logical operations means, for example, you can take this here, if you see it is not equal to undefined, and me some cases if the data is not available, check the other data, or if the data is not available, may enable the button, disable the button, hide the button. That all operations also we can perform in expression binding in view itself. That means as a process what we will do is in the controller we will maintain the condition, we will get the value and we'll check the condition if the data is empty or not in the if case. So if the satisfies with it will jump to the if condition and we will write, right? So instead of maintaining all the logical operations in the controller, by using this expression binding we can perform the basic scenarios, I mean visible calculation parts, enability things, hide the that all. So whatever the operations here we maintain this, whatever these operations will support, this all operations without writing logic code in the controller, directly we can bind the code in the view. So in which cases we'll use this expression binding means, before displaying your UI screen you want to perform some actions to enable or to perform some coloring part, or if you want to perform some highlighting the things, or if you want to maintain based on your roles, if you want to maintain something, in that scenarios will perform this element binding. So this element binding will support you before fetching the data to the screen. Just if you want to maintain some operations without writing code in the controller, we can go for this expression binding. Now how to use this expression binding in our bash system means, let's jump into our code, then we will see the expression binding, how to use it in our real scenarios. For expression binding, first I will create a new project from the template. There I will work on things. So if you guys are interested to learn the SAP Fiori end to end, I mean debugging and complete conceptual on every concepts wise for the interview questions, if you guys are interested, I started the SAP Fiori training session. If interested, please join the session. Otherwise, if you want to join community also, you will get the documents. Here, as you know, we are going to define the project details. Coming videos, I will explain you how to use all these things also. Yeah, now our project is going to create. Now we'll perform the expression binding, how to use it in real scenarios. Open the folder. Now here what I will create a scenario means, first I will maintain some vertical box. Within the vertical box I will maintain some prices. If the prices is high, I just highlight the color in the object status. If it is expensive means I will show it as an expensive or something like that. So just open the web app view. Every time I'm mentioning you, before starting your project, the first step what we have to do is, first run the application. How to run the application, you guys know. Now check information, everything is clear. Now I am running the application. If application works, project is clear, then we can start off our development. This is the first step we have to take every time. Yeah, my application working properly. Now go to the views and write your code. As I mentioned you before, my suggestion, always write code in the text layout editor to learn things. If you want to go for the page layout editor also, you can go. So within the page content, we need to maintain the, first I will maintain VBox. Now here I will maintain some text. So here I will use the expression binding. So as I mentioned you before, the syntax will be equal to dollar. Now I want to maintain the conditions for the price I told you, right? This data I will bind it to the controller. So first what I will do is I will go to the controller and I will define the some dummy data. How to maintain the dummy data within the model we need to maintain, right? Just go for it. Now my model is defined. I declare that model. Yes. Once I declare here, I will load some dummy data. If you see here, every time I'm defining my variables in a Campbell section. This is the standard way we need to define the variables in a standard section SAP prefers. Now within the model, I set the data. Now I'm going to set this model to the view. Yeah. Now my model is ready. Here I maintain the data. This model I'm setting to the view. Now in the view, this price data, I'm going to bind it to the view to perform the expression binding. So I want to maintain condition like if it is less than 100, sorry, greater than 100, maintain something like that. If the price value is greater than 100, I want to set my text is high price. If the value is less than not great, if it is not greater than 100, the data will show it as a low price. That's how it is. Then yeah, just save it and run the application. So if you see, it is showing low price. Why it is showing low price means go to the back. Here, when I go to the controller, if you see the price value is 120, because if the value is greater than 100, it is showing this. Now what I will do is this value I will maintain it as a 90. Now what it has to come? So if the condition is satisfied, it will come. It's an high price. That's how it is. Now let's refresh it and run the code. Now same way what I'm going to do is this expression binding, how to use it to our list. I will show you that. Now for that I maintained some dummy data, some array data. I will create it here. I will maintain and I will show you this now. So some array data I am defining here. Here some of the product name, some quantity, some status I maintain. Now in my view, I will bind this data. So let's remove this list, define a list. Items. So bind that entity name and I will show you how to fetch it here. Items. Within the items, I will choose the object list item. So here I will perform the expression binding. The object list item, you know, right, what are the properties? Some title, number count, that all properties will be there, right? So I will use some title to bind the data. I will take the title name is the product name. That one I define it here. This one I will bind it here. Then to perform the expression binding, I will choose the number state. So this number state, how I will bind is, if my price is low, it will show as some a red color. If the price is high, I will perform some other one. You know the syntax, right? So equal to dollar, then the product name. Here I will take this price, extended price. If it is greater than 10, the condition is satisfied, displayed error. Otherwise, colon, displayed success. If you know the JavaScript, the same structure we will maintain the syntax in our controller. So here what we are doing is the same syntax we are using to our expression binding. Only in expression binding we can maintain these conditions. That's how it is. Yeah, correct. So this is the standard syntax. Now let's run it. See, you can see that now color. So whatever the data we maintain there, if the value is variant, based on that we highlighted the color. If it is less than the condition we satisfy, it will come as a green color. If the condition is not satisfied, it will come as a red color. That's how we need to maintain here structure. You can see my external price value is greater than 10. If it is greater than 10, it will come as a red. If it is not satisfied, it will come as a green. You can see here the first record is greater than 10, that's why it is coming red color. If it is less than 10, it comes as a green color. That's how this that success and error message. Same way, if you want to maintain this as an enable condition, visible condition, or if you want to maintain it, as I mentioned before, all the operators, I mean binary operator, equal to conditions, relational operator, that all operators we can perform this expression binding. This expression binding, we can use it your layouts, simple forms, list reports, all the scenarios we can use. That means whatever the property binding, element binding, aggregation binding we use it, right? This all cases we can add this expression binding. How to add means, you now you saw, right? Previously by using text I showed you that we can consider it that one as a property binding, and now this is the aggregation binding. Within the aggregation binding, now I performed this expression binding. So finally, what I'm trying to say is expression binding is nothing but, instead of using a formatter, we'll use this expression binding in our XML views without writing the code in the controller to perform some of the basic operations, whether it's an operational and condition or condition visible scenarios. If you want to maintain the data dynamically, we can use this expression binding before fetching the data to your screens. That's how the expression bindings will work. If you think this video is helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching, guys.